Good morning, you guys. So, day one of the reading rush, and I started the day with a shower, and I had picked the audiobook for The Sword and the Stone. However, after the shower, it was, I started before I showered. It's been a little bit, so I think I'm 35 minutes into the audiobook, but something just didn't feel like it was this story, even though it was called The Sword and Stone. And so what I have figured out is this is kind of a retelling of The Sword and the Stone, actually. And the one I was listening to was the original Sword and the Stone by T.H. White. So I'm a little bit torn as to what to do. I've already started that audiobook, and I really needed to find some audiobooks from this TBR stack, and this was one of the only two I could find from that stack. But now it's not quite the same. It is the same story, so I have seen the movie, so it still works for the prompt, but I feel like if I were to read this, because it is adapted for children, I feel like it would take a lot less time to read this than to listen to the audio, because it's like 9 hours. However, I might not have that much opportunity to read a physical book, so I'm really stuck as to what to do. Let me know in the comments below what you would do in my situation. We're getting a morning rain shower, and I'm loving it. It's been a while since we had a good rain shower. Also, that's our new fence. Hey, so I just finished work, and while I was working today, I was listening to Peter Pan on audio. So, once again, the book that I have in my collection is like an abridged Disney version of the real story of Peter Pan. So I'm listening to the original, so it's not actually the book that I first touched, but I'm gonna call it good because it's still Peter Pan. And I think I would prefer to read the original, like, because I've never read anything Peter Pan, so I think I'd prefer to read the original before I go ahead and read any other versions of it, you know what I mean? So I'm actually like 84% of the way through that book. So I think I should be able to finish that today, I hope. If not, I'll be able to finish it tomorrow early. But yeah, so I think we're off to a good start. I will be able to start at least one more other book today. I'm not sure which one that will be. Depends on what time I get home. But yeah, just gonna do some errands now. Well, it's like the end of the day. I'm finally back home from all of the errands that I had to do this afternoon after work. But I finished Peter Pan. I did. And what should I say about it? I mean, even though I don't think I've ever seen the movie Peter Pan, and I've never read any Peter Pan stories, I feel like somehow I've just picked up on what the story is about. So there wasn't too much that surprised me about it. Other than Peter Pan is like super annoying and selfish. So there was that. And people were saying, like, I looked in Goodreads at some of the reviews that people had after I read it or listened to it, and people were saying how like sad and dark the ending was, and I didn't get that. I didn't feel very much for the ending. There were a few times where I laughed out loud at the I don't know, the snarky attitude in some of the comments that some of the characters were making, and I thought that was cute and funny. But otherwise, I didn't really have too much like emotional reaction to anything.
in the story, and I feel like I'm seriously sitting here considering, did I read the wrong version? Because I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, I'm gonna give that one a 3.5 on Goodreads. And now I'm home. I'm in the garage, as you can tell, and I'm gonna be working on a project that I started last week, and hopefully we can finish it by the end of this week. It's actually a bookshelf. So yeah, I was buying too many books and I ran out of shelves. So I'm building a new bookshelf. So while I varnish it, I will be listening to The Sword and the Stone. I think I'm just going to continue on with the original tale that I had started first thing this morning. I think I'm just going to continue on with that. Especially since I've finished Peter Pan so quickly, like I'm going to need another audiobook to go to. And The Sword and the Stone is the only other option I have. So we're going to continue that. I think I was like 6% of the way in this morning. So we'll just continue that. And yeah, I'll show you what I'm working on. All right, so those are the sides and these are the shelves. It's gonna be a very long, shallow, short bookshelf. I'm actually building it to fit a certain wall in our living room. So yeah, I'm really liking the color right now. And it was only one coat of stain, which I'm totally fine with. And now I'm just going to varnish it. The varnish I'm going to be using is, so this is the varnish I'm going to be using. And I was told very strongly by the guy at the paint section of the hardware store that I was not supposed to shake this, but I could stir it. So let's stir that. So I'm letting the first coat of the varnish dry. And I'm still listening to the Sword and the Stone audiobook. I am just here by my books. I'm doing a little reorganization stuff happening with my bookshelves. So like, there's my books. So I wanted to see if I could find something because on the Reading Rush Instagram page, they said today's photo challenge is to recreate a photo cover. And so now the challenge is to kind of go through this inconvenient stack and see if I can find a cover that I can recreate. I mean, it's like 6 o'clock already and the day is kind of winding down, kind of like need to chill from the workday. So we'll see if I have energy to find a book and recreate it. Let's see. So I kind of feel like a bit of a cheater, but I'm gonna go with this book. Because how easy is that? You just get a playing card of Queen of Hearts. Done. And my honey made supper today. So we're having these amazing sweet and sour meatballs and rice and veggies, and we're gonna have some banana bars as well. So it's gonna be a good supper. We're working on some finishing touches for the fence that we put up with the neighbors, and the sun is going down right now, so it's getting a little chilly, so I'm gonna have to put something a bit warmer on, I think. How about my good old pajama pants? You guys, look, I totally noticed today that I forgot to stain this one side. So, I was getting ready for bed and I'm going to have to stain this one side before I go to bed so that I can complete the varnish at the same time as everything else. So, that is the plan. I'm going to do a quick coat of stain on this one. I'm finally winding down for the day. I might read a few pages of this just before I go to sleep, but I got 20% of the way into A Sword and the Stone, and yeah,
I guess I'm kind of looking forward to this one because Peter Pan and the Sword and Stone, they're both like nonsensical children's stories. So they're very whimsical and like nonsense. That's all I can describe it, is just nonsense. So I'm very looking forward to this book, even though I suspect it's going to be well, like, I think there's a lot of hard stuff that these two people go through in their life. So I mean, I'm not looking forward to reading it, but I am, like, I don't know how you can say that and not sound weird, but I think you guys know what I mean. So good night. Thanks for joining me on day 1. Hopefully I can keep this up for the rest of the week by doing daily vlogs. Yeah, cross your fingers. Good night.